Good morning. Dobry dzień. Just want to have a little wander today, like everyone does when they come through to Moscow. Either tourists or locals, we go on Moscow Metro. Moscow Metro is absolutely fantastic, very cheap, very functionally, and millions of people go through the Moscow Metro every day. If you enjoy this little wander through the Moscow Metro, like and subscribe, helps me to grow the channel, as it's a new channel, so the help is always helpful. Thank you. Okay, before we start and go into the metro, we're sitting at the moment at Kitai Gorad, and we're going to get asked a few questions. One of the questions that I asked all the time is, how much? How much does it cost to get onto this metro system? The metro system costs 60 rubles. 60 rubles, about 50 pence. And you can travel all over the whole of Moscow. As long as you're on the metro system, you can change channels, change stations, change everything you want through that time. And it will only still cost you that original 60 rubles. Absolutely fantastic. And it's clean, and it's tidy, and you don't get any problems. A lot of the normal new trains are updated. They've got charging stations for their cables, for the let's be honest, we've all got to the situation where our phones is run down, so you can charge them while you're on the metro. Metro itself started was in 1931. 1931 was the first idea that they were going to do a metro system. So they got involved with London Metro. So the guys who did all the Piccadilly line, they come to Metro into Moscow, and they asked them, can you show us how you set up your metro system? So they had a couple of engineers come across, and they started and they set up the first line, which had 13 stations. It was finished in 1935, and then obviously they were looking at to go further and how further we would go. But what happened? The NKVD, they stopped a lot of the engineers and found out that they were trying to do espionage, and so they were stopped. Also, a great thing about the Moscow Metro is if you go through the trains, it usually is 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes and you've got a new one. That regular through the peak time. Here comes now the train, as we say, each one about 1:30, about 1:36, not bad. Even when it's non-peak time, you're talking about a couple of minutes, not much more, and have always been much the same. As we've got countless amounts of beautiful stations through this system, we're going to try and focus on about 4 or 5 that basically show a lot of the beauty of Moscow Metro, and I hope you're going to enjoy my little tour through the Moscow Metro. Here we are on one of the first lines that was finished in 1935. There was only 13 stations originally, and the idea was that the place would be like palaces, like theatres, really nice, so much better than what it looks like in Piccadilly in London, where it's very, very small and very basic. Okay, we have a little look around the back here. It was about all the different pillars along the side here. And one of the good things about this area here is shows how much we have moved forward. Yes, it was very beautiful and it's a little day. And each different time we get a train, minute and a half. Right. Here we are at the blue line, number 3 line. This is Kievskaya. Kievskaya was originally the design was one in Ukraine, and they decided that this would be the ideal design for Kievskaya to show the unity between Russia and Kiev from Ukraine in the last between 1654 up to 1917. As you can see in the background here, you can see there are lots and lots of chandeliers, mosaics up in the windows, all the way along, and then come to the very back end of here. There's a massive mosaic here, massive mosaic. It's supposed to be dedicated to Russia and Ukraine and their unity. Hopefully, looking at this sort of thing, this would be ideal if they could actually look at it today and use it as a template to some unity between the two countries. Line, and this is Mr. Lennon at the end of that line. As you see, it's also part of KSK. High ceilings, big, huge chandeliers, and lovely mosaics all over. Very, very decorative. Very beautiful. Hopefully people enjoy it. Hopefully they'll realise can't get together, can't get on together well. Here we find ourselves up Betskaya. One next to the boat and another Betskaya. Originally supposed to be a bomb shelter, because it's the good thing with Arbatskaya is that it has long platforms. It's the second longest in the Moscow metro, and also what it does have is 41 meters down, so it gives us a lot of protection if we have bombs or any fallout or anything like this. It's also good because it is actually right beside, adjacent to the Ministry of Defence, so that makes life easy when they have to come and deal with it. Advance was a very wealthy area years ago, and it's turned into a little bit of a tourist track now, which isn't so good. Residents get with people going under it. So there's the beautiful trains. We get these quite often. They just like that. Is that pretty? Sunflower. Very nice. Very nice indeed. There we go. The Scot Revolution, which is dedicated to the Revolution and the Revolution Square. What's most famous about this area here is we have 76 bronze statues. The legend says that if you rub certain parts of bronzes, you will get luck. There is 4 that are well known, and the first one, we just go through here, is the patrolman. The patrolman had a dog. The patrolman had a dog. Where are we going? This side. This side here. So that's the patrolman, and that's his dog. If you see his snout, always try and make sure you rub it for a bit of luck. Who knows? You might be lucky. And everywhere in the world here, this in Moscow, we do this. Okay. This is by far my favourite. I love these bronzes. I find they're really, really special. People just use them. It's a normal station for these people that travel around here. For me, absolutely beautiful. They'll just take a wee walk right down the bottom of it, see all some of the bronzes. There's our dog. Hello, Mr. Dog. Your rooster. It signifies all sorts of things from here, from writers to aviators to farmers to athletes, soldiers, everything. This one signifies children. So you have the child and you have the mother. And then we have the children at the bottom. Beautiful. Second, this is a rooster. As you see, a lot of people touch it for a bit of luck. So I'm quite happy to take a bit of luck. I need a bit of luck. That's a certainty. This is one of the stations that I know quite a lot. Maikovskaya. My wife works around this area, so we go here quite a lot. Maikovskaya is a classic example of the Art Deco system. Everything in the ceiling streaking across the sky and future. The other famous thing about this area here, it was originally to be a bomb shelter around here. And during the Second World War, it became a place because it was down deep. It was a hospital. It's quite noisy by the way. A lot of people here came through the hospital here, and even during this time, actually probably on this platform itself, during Stalin's time, Mr. Stalin did a couple of meetings along here where he met the people, talked about what was happening in the Second World War. And the other thing about this, really interesting about here, is obviously a lot of guys left to go to the war, and so they had children. So we had 150 children born in this platform. See, if you look at top of here, you can see each one is dedicated to something to do with aeroplanes, the sky. Russian Air Force definitely played a great part. As they started at the beginning, most of the planes were destroyed and they went east where they developed their own fighter, and the fighter had a fantastic reputation. After the Second World War, the construction continued with the metro, and there was a fourth line put together in 1950, and then of course this coincided with times when we had the Cold War. So during the Cold War they continued building, and people say because the stations were really picturesque and beautiful, it's like the zenith of building and design on the metro system. After the metro times, we had times with Brezhnev and Khrushchev, and they didn't like the elaborate designs that we had in the metro system. So what they wanted was everything would be standardized, everything would be basic, it was cheap, it looked cheap, everybody knew it was cheap. And unfortunately we had a system then when we did have sites all the way up to the 1970s where it was really not nice at all. Around the 70s they started to put a bit of money into it, and we started to get picturesque stations again. So that was coming up into Gorbachev time. So when it became Gorbachev time was 1990, and although there was obviously big problems with money and the system in the 1990s, the Soviets were collapsing and becoming the Russian Federation. The and then they still continued building, and all the way through, every year there seems to be new stations, new areas, some really nice, some very basic, but at least people are keeping this areas going from further and further and further out into the city. So we have at the moment about 300 stations, about 263 are actually in Moscow Metro, and I'm sure that will build itself up to about 500 the way it goes. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. I'd like to thank my son Roma for putting us around and showing us the best way to get from one area to one area. Always helps when there's someone who lives and knows the place better. Thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe if you get the chance. Thank you very much. Have a good day.